attendance today. We appreciate your being live with us. We also appreciate those of you that are out virtually watching today on Zoom or on our Facebook Live broadcast today. We appreciate you being here and being interested in what's going on in your town. My name is Woody Washam, and I'm your mayor here in Cornelius. We have a couple of my commissioners that are here with us today. That would be Commissioner Todd Sansbury and Commissioner Colin Furcht. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you. Thanks for being here and supporting this effort. All of our staff is here, and we will introduce them along the way as the topics move around the room today. So thank you for coming out on a beautiful day. Couldn't have a better day on I would say it's May Day, but it's pretty doggone close to May Day, isn't it? And here in beautiful Chamber of Commerce day here in Cornelius, Bill Russell. So thank you all for being here. And we're going to celebrate small business here in Cornelius in just a few minutes. That's one of my passionate topics in our town, is supporting our small business, our great small businesses that are all around our town. So stand by and help me celebrate those as well. So one of the things that we typically do at these presentations is talk about transportation. One of the top priorities that we have here in our town is our efforts on improving our transportation. So to do that, we want to make sure that all of our citizens know what's going on. We've got a lot in motion, a lot. Update today. Thank you, Tyler. We're switching up a little bit, aren't we? So I think we've worn Wayne here and out. So Tyler takes over. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Wayne is actually in San Diego, so he's enjoying himself on his way back today. So this morning you get me for the transportation update. Thank you. Matt, big round of applause. I appreciate that. So just getting into our presentation, this slide is a map of Cornelius, and all the lines and dots on the map are active transportation projects. There are 13 in our region. Some of them are in Huntersville, some of them are in Davidson, but the vast majority are in Cornelius. And even the ones in Huntersville and Davidson affect our day-to-day transportation. So they're very important to us as well. Go ahead, Matt. Keep going. First off is Jim Street Extension. This is one that the town is actually constructing. The rest of them are DOT projects. So this will connect Jim Street to Oak Street behind the Oak Street Mill. So it'll end up by the Cornelius Elementary School, which is over on the left-hand side of the screen. And when this is complete, residents and motorists will be able to go from Antiquity to Highway 21 without getting on Catawba. So one of our focuses with the 2013 bond projects was east-west connectivity on the east side of town and relieving some congestion on Catawba. So go ahead. So this project's just getting underway. They surveyed last week and they plan to start clearing this week, and construction will be complete by the end of the calendar year. And moving on to the DOT project. So in 2023, there's going to be a lot of projects moving. So a lot of orange barrels. First off is Highway 21 in Catawba. This is two roundabouts. One will be at the end of Holiday Lane, and one will be at the Lucky Dog Dog Bar. And then we're also adding a right turn lane, extending the right turn lane onto the interstate, which will help drastically at this project. Construction again is supposed to start 2023. Go ahead. North Cross Drive extension. This will connect North Cross Drive in Huntersville by the Whole Foods up to Westmoreland Road, right near the Westmoreland Athletic Complex. This one will be a little bit longer construction project because of a bridge they have to construct over the McDowell Creek Greenway and McDowell Creek. But one good thing about it is most of the project is off the existing roadway, so it won't affect traffic that much. Go ahead, Matt. Another one is the Torrent Chapel West Catawba intersection improvements. This is a series of 3 roundabouts. The first is at the post office. The next one is at the Lake Norman Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership. And the third one is at Knox Road. There's also going to be improvements to Knox Road and the 1 Norman intersection. Keep going. Highway 115 in Potts. This is right at the YMCA and right before you go into Davidson under the railroad bridge. Putting in a roundabout here. Everyone knows it's very difficult to turn out of the YMCA at times and off Potts Street. So this will vastly improve transportation connectivity in this area. And one good thing about this is we'll be able to put a multi-use path under the railroad bridge. So anyone that's tried to walk or bike under that bridge is taking their life into their hands. So that'll vastly improve pedestrian and bicycle access. We got notified last week that utilities are starting relocation. So this one is moving along quickly. Keep going, Matt. Next is the Bailey Road extension. This is right at the sharp curve of Bailey Road. So we're removing that sharp curve and taking it straight out to Highway 21. There will be a signalized intersection at Highway 21, and then a future connection from Bailey Road over the interstate to the North Cross Drive, the new North Cross Drive we just talked about, but that's in the future. But this one will start in 2023 as well. I-77 shoulder hardening, excuse me. This is actually should be a big improvement. This will essentially during peak times, you'll be able to travel on the shoulder. So if you're traveling to exit 25 from 28, you'll be able to just stay on the shoulder and won't have to get into the general purpose lane. So you're essentially opening up a lane between all of the exits. And that'll go from 485 up to exit 36 in Mooresville. Keep going, Matt. And then moving forward to 2024 construction, Hickory Street and 115 intersection. This is right at Mama's Pizza. We're adding a signal here. As you can tell from this picture, it can be a very congested area, and turning left from Hickory Street on the Antiquity side is extremely dangerous and very hard to do. So adding a signal will improve safety there. This one got bumped a little bit by DOT, and we're trying to move this up forward. You would think adding a signal isn't that complicated, but it's a lot. It takes a lot to do. We're adding turn lanes, so there's more to it than just putting up wires and a signal, but that'll be a great improvement for us.
Let me add one thing, Tyler, to this one. This is one that myself and particularly Commissioner Bilodeau have gotten pretty emotional about. Commissioner Bilodeau serves on CRTPO, and we're pulling all of our stops out on this one to try to get the date back in line here. Actually, within the next week or 10 days, we've got a meeting coming up with a couple of the DOT board members. So we're gonna do all we can to keep this one on track. The main reason being it's unsafe. It's just very unsafe with the amount of traffic that this little small intersection is handling in town. And it's costly, but it's not our most costly project. And they really ought to help us figure out how to come up with the money. I don't know how we'll do that. We may have to front the money, Tyler. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. But just wanted to add that. Really, really important. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mayor, did the priorities like CDOT change to some of
Yeah.
Just as a matter of when,
That's right.
all of a sudden
It
it's not there at all. So I just wondered if
No, they didn't. It's a funded, Scott. It's fully funded. So that's the good news. They just bumped the date back a little bit. They got delayed with engineering and some of the efforts to prepare for that. So it just didn't seem appropriate to us that they delay such a small project to the extent that they were. And it's about a year. It's about a year
That's right.
pushback. So it's not the end of the world, but you know, I just really fear that somebody's going to get killed here. You know, either pedestrian or somebody pulling out of Harris Teeter or Antiquity or Mount Zion Church or Autumn Care. I mean, it's a highly used intersection to be what it is right now. We've got to have that signal.
So West Catawba Phase 2, this is our biggest project, both impact and money-wise. This is about a $50 million project for DOT. Right away is currently underway. I saw they tore down a house out right by Nance Road last week that is a DOT purchase, so they had to remove the house. So that is still ongoing. Utility relocates. There's tons of utilities, so that's going to take a while too. So the construction dates are 2024 to 2027. This one, again, we are actively trying to speed this up as much as we can because this will be a huge impact once it's done. Go ahead, Matt. Then moving out further, Highway 21 widening. This is from Home Depot to Westmoreland Road. So this will be widening it 4 lanes, making it a super street or synchronized street is what we're referring to it now. This one has also been pushed back a little bit, but we're hoping with the atrium development that it'll move forward and we can build this sooner rather than later. Another one that is mostly in Huntersville and other jurisdictions. We have a small portion of Highway 73, but it is a major road for all of us in the North Mac region. There's a Highway 73 widening. So this will go from Lincoln County over towards Concord. So it's a major project. There are 3 sections of this. Currently scheduled for 2027 and completion in 2029. I keep going. That's just a picture of the intersection at West Catawba. So any questions on any transportation projects?
Going along, just so you know, going along with the Highway 21 widening, we really do believe that the advent of the atrium development that's going in out there, which is pretty critical. Unfortunately, I spent a little time at one of the atrium facilities with a kidney stone this weekend. So anyway, I know how important our medical facilities here in town definitely are, but we have seen some great examples of that facility and that development. And I know that it's going to bring on, it's going to move these projects up. I think with the influence of atrium and what they have throughout the state, 2 things is going to happen. It's going to move that Highway 21 project. It's going to be a better project than we thought it was going to be because of atrium. And this is also going to facilitate and move up the list the exit 27 interchange, which I think is awfully important to our economic development here throughout our town. That's a great corridor into the business and I guess where we have the most opportunity for economic development. We don't have much left, but that's certainly a great direction. And I think that will also download some traffic off of exit 28 and make that all better too. So we're all about getting exit 28 done here for our community. Commissioner Sansbury.
Yes, sir. That's not on, is it? So that whole intersection will be redone, the Westmoreland 21 intersection. So there will be extended turn lanes, new turn lanes. We don't have a final design yet, but that whole intersection is part of that project.
The Baylor Road extension affect the intersection of Baylor?
So it'll essentially stay the same as it is now. The light will remain, but traffic will be much less, especially going through the Oakhurst neighborhood, which I know the residents there will prefer. But that intersection, the existing intersection right there at 131 will remain the same as it is today.
There'll be a large traffic circle, which the curve is now. veer off of that and come into 20 to the side. And that's
Right.
where the traffic light.
Yeah. So there'll be a traffic light at both. So essentially at just north of Grace Covenant Church is where the new intersection will be. And then so once the flyover is another project that Bailey Road will extend over to North Cross Drive. So it'll go over the interstate and intersect with the new North Cross Drive.
Right along the
Yeah.
along the edge of that property and get into another east-west connector. Now,
Mhm.
bad. East side, and west side. One comment about the Westmoreland Road. One comment about the Westmoreland Road piece of things. That will also, that's if you're on a bicycle or walking through there, it is not safe. I get more complaints about that particular intersection from so many people. And so this will take care of that, right, Tyler? I mean, it will definitely take care of that
We have Matt,
problem as well.
working still, maybe a little bit. We have another project that'll bring a multi-use path across the Westmoreland Bridge, the flyover there at Westmoreland. So from 21 over to the new Greenway, or to the existing Greenway and the new Greenway. Troy, do you have a date on that? Next couple of years that should be going?
Speaking of that, I thought I heard at some point there was going to be a bridge over Westmoreland to connect the Greenway.
It's not a bridge, but we are doing a Hawk system, which is essentially a signalized crosswalk. So that has been out to bid. We're finalizing the contract now. So that should be under construction in the next couple months.
You're talking about a bridge across the interstate?
No, across Westmoreland.
Well, across,
To
I
connect
got you.
the
Yeah.
Greenway,
Right.
Right now, you.
Yeah. I got you.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're putting in the Hawk system. So signalized push button. It'll stop traffic. There'll be a pedestrian refuge in the middle of Westmoreland as well.
Is that close to the traffic circle?
It's between the intersection with Alexander Chase and Lake Pines and the interstate. Excuse me.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
So that's a very important aspect of getting you across Westmoreland Road, which will be widened at some point. That's on our list as well. Anything else? Great update. Well, you got a lot of questions, Tyler. You did a good job there. Man, I tell you to step in for Wayne. Let's give him a hand. Oh, well, thank you very much. If there are other questions, just hang around afterwards and we can certainly fill you in, because we know transportation and roads and getting these done and getting them done on time is critically important to our citizens. Now I want to move us on to our Small Business Week celebration, if you will. We've got a couple folks with us today. First of all is Bill Russell, and Bill will be followed. Bill is president of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. I've worked with Bill for many, many years now and served as his chairman a few years back. And also another very viable organization in our community is the Small Business SBN Small Business Network. And Douglas Marion is here to represent those folks who meet once a week and do a great job in networking with each other and in promoting small business throughout our town and our region. So let's kick it off, Bill, and celebrate small business. You're all about that, and I am too. So let's have a party.
Oh, thank you very much, Mayor. As Mayor Washam said, it is a Chamber of Commerce Day. It's a beautiful day out there. It's not only Small Business Week, it's also Travel and Tourism Week. So we're celebrating both this week. Back a couple of years ago in March 2020, when the stay-at-home order was issued by Mecklenburg County, we received a flurry of phone calls the next day from businesses asking, because the stay-at-home order was if you're a non-essential business. And businesses were calling and saying, are we considered essential? And let me just say, from a Chamber of Commerce perspective, every business is essential in the community. So today we're celebrating small business. We're very excited when we have a corporation that looks at Lake Norman, and Ryan and his team from the Economic Development Corporation brings them in. We're extremely excited when an organization like Financial Independence Group grows its organization. But the backbone of every community is small business. And that's what we want to focus on this week. We have a series of activities all week long. Starts off with the program today that we're having. Tonight, we're going to have resolutions from each of our towns supporting Small Business Week. David Keith, my board chair, is going to be in Cornelius tonight. I'm going to be in Huntersville tonight. Davidson and Mooresville have also passed resolutions, and they will be presenting them to us on Friday. Tomorrow, Home Trust Bank finally kicks off with a ribbon cutting celebration, grand opening. They've been open for a few weeks now, I think, but we're going to have the actual celebration tomorrow. At 4 o'clock, we're going to have a new member orientation. So all of the businesses that have joined the Chamber of Commerce in the last few months, as well as any business that goes, what are the incentives and businesses belonging to the Chamber of Commerce? We're going to talk about that tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Wednesday, we're having our small business event of the year. We used to have a luncheon at the Peninsula Club where we might have about 120 people come out and listen to 3 or 4 speakers. And we were excited to have 120. The pandemic kind of changed that. So we took it to a virtual program. And because it was virtual, we had these national speakers and authors that they weren't traveling. They were at home. So they joined us virtually. And instead of 120 people, we got 6,000, 7,000 people watching this program, of which it's going to be WSIC. It's in their studio, so it'll be on their AM and FM stations, but it'll also be on their Facebook page. We put it on YouTube, so it's recorded so people can watch it at their own leisure, 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Again, some really fantastic speakers that are lined up. Steve Gillihan is back. We have Chuck Gallagher back, which are 2 just absolutely entertaining folks. You won't want to miss that. So 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Wednesday. Thursday, we're having Dr. Lexi Lane. She's going to be talking about resilience and making sure that your business is got the tools that it needs in the toolbox to continue to grow and nurture. We're having that on Thursday. Business After Hours, Freedom Boat Club. So networking at its best on the lake. So I encourage you to come out 5:30 to 7. Find out why the Chamber of Commerce is an organization you need to be a part of. And then Friday, we culminate with our Small Businesses of the Year. And we have selected a small business in Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, and Mooresville. That's going to be at 10 o'clock on Friday. The Chamber of Commerce, for those of you who may not be aware, what all does the Chamber do? Well, the Chamber does really 3 things. Number one, we promote your business, promote the members of our business, our community. So we have that. If you're not a member, encourage you to do so in the next few weeks, because we're going to be coming out with our relocation magazine called Great Lake Living that we put out annually. And in the back, we have a complete categorical listing of our Chamber's membership. So if you've been thinking about it, if you're on the fence, consider you to get that application in and join the Chamber of Commerce. The other thing is we serve our community by putting on those programs that I just mentioned, Business Works, Power Luncheons, and things of that nature. The last thing we do is advocacy. And just a little while ago, Tyler was talking about expanding I-77 and hardening the shoulders. Several years ago, Cornelius was ground zero for the toll debate. And while we couldn't change the I-77 tolls, couldn't stop that process, one of the things we did working through the Cooper administration was getting the hardened lanes that Tyler just talked about. So in essence, during those peak driving times, we're going to get one more general purpose lane. And that was one of the things that the Chamber did. Advocacy is big for business. We're the voice of business. So on our Focus Friday, which is the 3rd Friday of this month, we have Senator Mike Lee. He is the Senate Chairman for the Education Committee. Education, like transportation and healthcare, is huge to our quality of life. That's a virtual program, and we're going to have Senator Lee on. And then on the 20th of this month, we have Senator Tom Tillis to talk about what's going on in Washington, D.C., what are some of the legislation that's impacting our business community. So those are some of the things that the Chamber of Commerce is involved in. In September, we have our birthday. We celebrate 35 years of being an organization that promotes Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, Mooresville, and the greater Lake Norman region. We have 800 chamber members, and we encourage you to get involved if you're not already. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Bill. Bill can certainly get us excited about small business here in our community. And thank you, Bill, for all you do. Also, as he noted, it's National Tourism Week. I've served on the Visit Lake Norman board for many years. Commissioner Furt is on that board as Cornelius's representative now, and they do a lot of good, don't they, Colin? They really do in our community, and bringing dollars to it, bringing tourism to us, providing events and all kinds of things that serve our citizens, and bringing lots of tax dollars. So it all ties together. It really does. And again, to promote our small business, there's no group that does it any better on pretty much of a volunteer basis than the Small Business Network here in town. So Douglas Marion is here. He is one of the top folks involved in that organization, along with Jim Vogel. I think this group has heard from Jim Vogel before over the past years, and Jim is alive and well, and just couldn't be with us this morning. But Douglas, tell us about what goes on in your organization.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I'm Douglas Marion. I know most of you in the room. If I don't know you yet, I'll know you soon. I can't say enough good things about the chamber. I'm the incoming chair-elect for 2023. I've been involved with the chamber for 11 or 12 years. And in 2013, Jim Vogel started the Lake Norman Small Business Network, kind of as a, when he transplanted here from Raleigh, he was running the same type of network there. It's like Mayor Washam said, it's sort of a volunteer organization, a little bit less formal than the chamber, but more of just a social networking for small businesses and a way to give a voice into the community. So everything that we do is free. We meet every weekly Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. at Old Town Public House. We've done several different places and venues over the years. We started a Facebook page first, which now has, I think, about 5,000 members on it. And that's really just as a business aggregator for information and resources, advice, tips, things like that for local small businesses. So we're primarily just an advocate for local small business. Once a month, we do 2 after hours, more of an informal social. That is at D9 Brewing, which is the final Thursday, and then first Friday here at Ben 110. So all 3 of the venues we use are here in Cornelius. We recently recruited Jim and his wife to Cornelius. They've lived in Davidson for about 10 years, and now they are Cornelius residents as well. I've been in Cornelius for, I think, about 13 or 14 years. I grew up in Statesville, just up the highway. And so with the Lake Norman Small Business Network, it's a volunteer organization, but we also give back to the community. So it's a no cost group. We're not really an affiliated formal association of any kind, but we're just kind of a no rules, no regulations, kind of a come and go as you see fit. So I know a few of you in the room have visited, and some are regular attenders. If you're not coming, feel free to join us on Wednesday mornings at Old Town Public House just in downtown Cornelius. We also give back to the community through several different fundraisers. We're always just asking for, a dollar here and a dollar there. And through that, we've given almost $10,000 away to local small charities in our community over the years. So it's kind of amazing that we can have a strong impact, not just by hosting our events at local places like Old Town Public House, which is public grounds in the morning as a coffee shop. So if you haven't been there for coffee, feel free to go. People think, oh, it's a bar. Well, it's a coffee bar in the mornings. So we like to support Case and his team there, as well as have been supporting D9 for 8 years now, since they first opened. But in addition to that, we also do a community blood drive at the Harris Teeter in Antiquity. We do that every 2 months. So we're trying to get our numbers back up from that. Historically, we've done 50, 60 people. So we'll have 2 buses. That all goes through One Blood. And we recently had one, so we'll have another one, I believe in June. So keep posted. If you haven't liked the Facebook page, it's LKN SBN or Lake Norman Small Business Network. But again, we just really stand behind all of the local groups. We're in great alignment with the chamber. So we advocate for the chamber and try to get more membership driven to that because they're more of a formal official group and they provide tons of value. So with the Lake Norman Small Business Network, we host those weekly and monthly events and then really just try to network and connect local small business leaders and companies with each other and try to get things moving in our community. Any questions? Prior to 2020, we had typically 70 or 80 different 70 or 80 members that we're meeting on a weekly basis. Now we're primarily between 30 and 40. So we're looking forward to hopefully getting some more membership out and about and trying to see what we can do in the community. So if you do have any questions or any suggestions, feel free to reach out to me or to Jim Vogel or find me here at the meeting. Thank you.
It is an incredible group. I attend as regularly as I can, and there's just a lot of business connections that go on at the meeting that Douglas was talking about. Really, it's small business communicating with small business to connect folks for additional business. That's sort of what it boils down to, and it's really heartening to see that going on right here in our community every week. It's a great compliment to what the Chamber of Commerce does, and it's not working in competition with the chamber, as you can tell, but as a compliment to the chamber. So it's a great organization, and I appreciate all the work that Jim and Douglas and lots of others have put into it. So thank you guys, and we celebrate small business with you as a small business banker for a lot of years. I know many of the small businesses in this town and throughout our region, and it's an incredible compliment. I do know that if you add up all the people that are employed in our communities, I don't know what the number is now. I haven't kept up with it, but it's an incredible number of folks that work and are employed by these small businesses here in town. And that's definitely a good place to be and a good reason to support these small businesses. Pretty easy to go out on Amazon, but if you think about where your heart ought to be, it would be supporting these small businesses and making sure they stick around. So great small businesses here, and congratulations to all of you. So with that, let's just move on for any other general questions. Yeah, I knew my friend, my antiquity friend over here was going to speak up, and thank you for being here today. Tell them your name.
Hi, I'm Dellanne Brown, and I do live in Antiquity, and this is not my forte. I received this shirt wrapped up, and I opened it, and my grandson is looking at me, and he says, "Guess what?" So this is very important. He's been accepted at Davidson. Otherwise, it would not be here in this particular setting. I'm impressed with all the transportation. I'm impressed with the small businesses. But I have to tell you, the mayor told me that the 9 million is already in the budget. This was not allotted for any particular thing. And I'm sure the town has many reasons and many things they would like to do with it. However, I have done a lot of research, and my heart says this is the time to take care of Smithville. This is the mayor and a new commission board. Get out there and be the first for affordable housing and take care of Smithville, which I told the mayor, I looked behind the elementary school, which by the way needs to be leveled and put a new building on. You know, I know the roads are important, guys. I've been here 12 years. The roads have always been important. The roads have always been 14 years ahead of us. But Smithville, for 50 years, needs help. Not given something, but allotted it. Now, would I like to see all 9 million given to them? Yes, but how about 6.6? Let's not just match the 3. I would like Cornelius to stand up and out for something important. And this right now is important. And I want to see our commissioners and our mayors lead the way. And here.
Give her a hand. Well, she didn't ask a question, but I do think that brings on some comments and takes us into maybe a short conversation about our ARP money. And I'm going to probably ask the town manager to come up and make sure you know, all those watching know about opportunities that will be ahead for you to provide your town board and me feedback related to how you spend that money. Smithville is important. It really is. And I think your board is committing to doing something for Smithville. I don't have that exact amount yet, but it'll be significant. I do believe that. And Smithville does need our help, but so does affordable housing throughout our community. So it's a big challenge. It really is a multi-million-dollar challenge. And I think there's a lot of commitment, certainly by me, based on our great work our Affordable Housing Committee has done in forming a CDC and so forth. There's way more to come on that. And there's a lot of passion out there in our community about affordable housing. So thank you for your passion, and you're right. We need to step up and make Smithville a better place. Gentrification is a real thing. It's happening in Smithville. We've got to do something sooner than later to fix some of the major problems that are going on out there. So Manager Grant, if you'll come up and tell all of our citizens about some of the opportunities from a survey. We're getting ready to survey you to death. We've already done that. And please don't give up on us, because our board wants to hear from you. I want to hear from you in terms of setting our priorities, and you can't sit quietly in a corner and keep that to yourself. Tell us what's on your mind, and we want to meet the needs of our citizens and listen. So Manager Grant, tell us how we can do that.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for the comments. As the mayor mentioned, feedback is always important regardless of what the topic is, but in particular with this, I'll call it unique ARP funding that all of the communities across the nation are receiving. So we started the process, and I know my commissioners and the mayor will remember this, discussing how we would go about receiving feedback several months ago. And what we've done is we've released ARP survey number 1, and hopefully you've had an opportunity to respond to that. But if you haven't, you still have another chance. We're working on Maylin Joyner, our communications manager, myself, and the Board of Commissioners are working on a ARP survey number 2, which will release that as well to the public. And we hope everybody responds to it. As the mayor mentioned, we want feedback. And then rewind a little bit, a couple meetings ago, April, I forget the exact date, we had a public comment session specifically for ARP. We wanted to hear from the citizens what they thought. And I think you were in the audience that night too, I think, if I remember correctly. So thank you for coming. And that doesn't mean you can't come tonight. You know, we have a meeting tonight. Everybody can come and make comments about anything, even ARP. And we'll continue to have that opportunity for all of our citizens at every single town board meeting. Now, you can sign up when you come in and make those comments. But as the mayor mentioned, we have a survey coming out. We apologize for asking so many questions, but we have so many urgent needs we want to hear from all the citizens about. And on the survey, you'll have the opportunity to indicate your preference or your priority or your feedback. If you want to write comments about affordable housing or community development or any specific neighborhood, you can. You can also talk about transportation. You could also talk about greenways and bike lanes and things like that, public safety, water quality, stream restoration projects. I mean, there's a number of things that you can indicate your preference for that the town commission will have a very difficult job in trying to assign priorities for. Thank you, Mayor.
So Andrew, before you leave, tell them how to find that survey. How can they go about, or should Maylin tell them?
So we haven't pushed it out yet, but when we do, it'll be posted on our website, and Maylinda does an excellent job pushing it out on social media as well. And we're also looking at ways for folks that don't have access to computers to get that out in our community as well. Maylinda, did I miss anything? Okay. So the question was which Facebook page, and so I'm not a social media person, so thanks for asking that question. So it's the Town Cornelius Facebook site.
So please respond. You commissioners have anything to add to that as we talk about feedback from our citizens? Yes, sir. Commissioner First.
So as one of the co-founders, I guess, of the NAC Neighborhood Advisory Committee, Todd Sansbury and I put this together. We had a meeting on Thursday. Budget was top of mind. We had allotted 15, 20 minutes. It ended up being 45. Andrew and Julie came and spoke to the team on that. This is top of mind for us. We are going to have to vote on this budget in the next month. I know the mayor wants it done in May. If we can do it, we can do it. But we can't make a decision. And I think the numbers on the last survey were 1,000-ish. It's very difficult to make a decision of this magnitude with 1,000 people out of 32,000 telling us what they want us to do. So we really need your feedback, and we've been proponents of that since we got on the board. So please take a moment. If you need hard copies on any of these surveys, come to the meetings. Our email works. I promise you, we get all your emails and we try to respond to those. So that's really the point of the story, is just to get the word to us. Thank you.
Very well said. And we're trying to listen to as many people as we can. Yes, ma'am.
The survey is a white kind of thing. It's not a black tool. It's white. And that's very concerning. And it should be for you guys.
Well, let me tell you one of the things that we're doing, which I think will make you feel a little bit better. We're trying to distribute this in hard copy format, because what the manager said about folks not having access to computers and the ability or the knowledge to do it online, like many people do, we're going to get the hard copies of those surveys out into churches here in our town, all the churches in our town, including the African-American churches, to provide feedback that way. We're going to put it in Cornelius Today to at least provide a link. I'm not sure how that's in the final stages of getting worked out, but we'll create hopefully an opportunity to provide feedback through the newspaper that goes to every citizen in town. So we're really trying to get around multiple ways of providing folks the access. And we won't hear from every citizen. That will never happen. I'm not naive enough to think that everybody in town, I wish they would fill out a survey, but that just won't happen. So we're going to have to make the best decision we can. That's where you got to trust your board. And that's why we're all out. If you know anything about me, I'm out and about every day somewhere, always asking the question about what's your priority for Cornelius. And I am hearing a lot about Smithville. I am hearing a lot about affordable housing. I'm hearing a whole lot about transportation, and I'm hearing a whole lot about public safety. So the big decision that our commissioners will have to make is, how important is that? Do we want to pay our public safety people competitively? Because we're losing police officers right now because we're not paying competitively. So how do you fix that? I don't think that's a good thing. So we've got to fight hard to take care of our employees, because this town would be nothing without the great employees that do the day-to-day work that keeps it running. So if you're willing to pay for those services, you know, money just doesn't typically drop out of the sky. So we have to, I've said it other ways, but anyway, I'll clean it up a little bit and say it just isn't free. So we have to get the money from somewhere. But what I'm hearing from a lot of citizens is take care of our policemen, take care of our firemen, help us on affordable housing, and I'm willing to pay for it as a citizen of this community. So if that's not true, speak up or forever hold your peace, because we want to hear from you. We really do. And I'm not advocating that we will or won't have a tax increase. I don't know, that hasn't been voted on yet. More discussion to come on that particular topic. Nobody wants a tax increase, but you do want those services, and they're not free. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Is there an option to get these surveys out maybe into local grocery stores for those maybe that don't go to church if you're trying to reach more people? Everybody needs to buy food.
What do you think?
We're looking at different places where we can put paper copies of the survey that would make it more accessible. That's certainly one of the options that we're assessing. Some local businesses too, if they're willing to keep copies on hand.
All good ideas. And we're trying to figure out this process of getting those surveys out and encouraging people to respond without just wearing them out, which we're getting close to wearing them out right now.
Yes. No, so first of all, thank you for those comments. I think the survey comment, you're spot on, right? And just to let you guys know, there are a ton of meetings. For example, the Smithfield Community Coalition has a meeting at Belleville AME Church where the community of Smithfield comes out and talks about this. So there are other avenues to seek feedback. And the only thing, and I don't want to speak for the other commissioners, but I know often when Colin and I receive feedback, there's sometimes loss of context, right? Someone will read something or they'll be aware of something and they don't know the whole story. So I implore everyone, even listening, call your commissioners. We'll be glad to sit down and have coffee with you. Call the mayor, show up to the board meetings, because we want people to have the entire story. So when we make a decision about this funding, we want to make sure it's representative of the community and people understand the pros and cons both ways. So that's what we ask. Please reach out. We're more than happy to sit down with you and have a frank conversation about what the topics are. Fair enough?
Very well said. So, like I say, we want to hear from every citizen, but the more we hear from, the better. So one of our personnel committee members is sitting over here. Bob, you have anything to say about our pay as it relates to our public safety personnel? You have anything you want to add to that?
I have been on this voluntary group for a number of years now, and I don't know. Okay. We have never been able to catch up. We take very good steps year after year after year, but all it does is continuously leave us behind. And we have had voids in our police force for years, and it's not good. We're wearing them out. We're driving out forcing retirement on some, driving others out, and it's very competitive. It's almost a thankless job now because everyone seems to want to beat up on the policeman. But we've got to get our force up to where it needs to be. And in addition, we're adding on fire, which has been voluntary for years, and that no longer works. And so we're going to have a big nut to crack with paying a full-time fire department. But we have to pay them. And please support, even if it takes an increase, we have to pay for the services that we want to keep our community safe.
Well put. And this is a hardworking committee, particularly this time of year as it relates to budget in terms of looking at surveys and figuring out where we land in terms of the job grades and the pay that we have for all of our town employees, including our public safety. So a lot more to come on that, a lot more discussions. And I do want that budget voted on as soon as possible. It's probably not going to be tonight. And it's probably not going to be next meeting as well. But as soon as we can get that in place, the better, in my opinion. Mr. Higgins.
Again, plug development of Main Street. I know I've talked with the manager many times. I understand we don't have the money for Main Street but there are a lot of plans for new businesses going up. I was with groups this weekend who wanted to connect with our greenways. Connectivity is everything. All the improvements we're making, but also connectivity because people want to go around from one place to another. And all of our towns are connected in some way or getting connected very, very quickly. So I know that's down the road in the CIP, but again, Main Street, I know the mayor's been talking about improving Main Street forever. It's becoming more active and it's becoming more dangerous. I go up and down that road frequently, and it's in disrepair more and more every month. On the sideway, the areas on the side of the road, utility holes being put in there and not replaced, gravel, whatever. The sidewalks are too smaller, they're broken. People are entering that thing. So it's just an area that we need to really move up. And I know I've talked about this many times with Andrew, but it's got to be moved up in addition, because it connects to all the other things we're talking about. Hickory Street and all the way down to the new roundabout near Davidson. It's becoming more active. So I just want to put a plug in to the commissioners and others that we need to try to do something about Main Street.
Absolutely. And that is high on my list. Downtown redevelopment is pretty critical, and it goes along with a lot of redevelopment on the east side, not in place of affordable housing, but in addition to, right? So anyway, very, very important topics that we stand ready, I think, to make happen as soon as we can. What's the timing on our 115 project, Andrew? Do you remember that off the top of your head?
So a little bit of history and context on 115. So as Mr. Higgins mentioned, Main Street is what we call it, North Main Street, South Main Street, but it's 115. It's a highway, North Carolina highway, just like any other highway, like 21. And so as the mayor mentioned, in terms of timeline, that was a project that was not on NCDOT's radar, unfortunately. So one of the things we did, and I know you were a participant in this study, Scott, we conducted in partnership with NCDOT and also input from Huntersville and Davidson, because that's a road that goes through everyone's jurisdiction, to understand what it needs to improve 115, the entire corridor. And what Scott's mentioning is not only is it a road project, but it's also a bike and pedestrian project, because again, it goes through everyone's main street, everyone's downtown areas. That was a study that's on the books. We completed it. I think it's been 2 years ago. If Dennis and Wayne were here, who are our resident CRTPO experts, they would tell you it has to get ranked and scored. And unfortunately, it's not in a horizon year yet on the MTP. And I won't bore everybody with the acronym. So right now, Mayor, it's not a funded project in any horizon year. So the goal is, as DOT starts to chip away at projects and they have more funding available, that eventually that's a project that will move up as well. But in the meantime, I will tell you that because it is a priority for us, we're working on what we can work on, including utility relocation. So along 115 in that corridor, the utilities are aerial, they're not buried. So we're working on a burial and a relocation project with our electric utility, Electricities, to, again, over the course of several years, move those utilities either underground or 1 or 2 blocks behind 115. So we can clean up the streetscape, if you will. So it's a project that we'll all have to have some patience on, but eventually we will get there.
Well, as most of us know, the first leg of any transportation project is utility movement. And so to have that done and out of the way, we'll have to speed up this project as it relates to the funding part. But it is definitely something, every time I'm in front of DOT or our elected official, that gets pounded on. One of the other things I do want to say that's important in terms of our work with the Chamber of Commerce is our legislative agenda with the state of North Carolina. You know, towns don't have any authority other than what the state of North Carolina grants us. Folks think we can go out and change all these laws and do all these things. And I had an email from a citizen this weekend wanting us to get involved with some HOA issues that they didn't agree with, and that's just not what we can do. So we are limited with our rights. You know, but having a very focused legislative agenda in coordination with the Chamber of Commerce is critically important. And we do that. We have passed our legislative agenda. Transportation is high on the list in all categories. We're very fortunate in having these 13 projects funded and coming to our town now, but we want more. That's not enough. But once we get these 13, it will reform transportation in our community. My job, as long as I'm mayor, is to make sure these projects happen and happen when they say they're going to happen. That is a hard job, dealing with something that you really can't control, but you just have to beat your way through the process to make sure that they're listening to you. So definitely that's high on our priority, but that's high on the chamber's priority as well. Because if we don't have good transportation connection within our region, then we're not going to develop appropriately economically. Our jobs are not going to come here, and you know, people need jobs in our community. So we've got to keep pounding on that drum as we move along, and that's why we work so well with our chamber. So thank you, chamber, for all you do. Former Senator Jeff Torrent heads up their public policy and does a great job in helping make connections for many of us with the state legislature, and I appreciate his efforts there. He continues to intervene when we need him. So anyway, it's a big circle of a network that works together to promote all the things that are for the good of our community. So with that, unless anybody's got a real hot question, we will be around, myself and our commissioners and our town staff, town manager and assistant manager and others. If you have questions, feel free to hang out as long as you would like here at H2. Thank you to the folks with the H2 Public House for providing the facility to have these coffee chats. We appreciate Josh and his team. Thank you all very much for opening your doors to our community today. We'll be back with you. Maylin, do we have our date for our next coffee chat? It is first Monday in June. She's looking up the date right now, but that first Monday in June is what you need to keep on your mind. We'll have some great topics on the horizon, and look forward to seeing you then. So thanks. Have a great Monday, everybody. Have a great week. And board meeting tonight at 6 o'clock at Town Hall. Hopefully see you there. Thanks.